What if the thing that makes you most powerful is the very thing you've been trying to hide? Let's be honest, perfection might impress people, but authenticity, that's what connects people to you. That's what builds trust, and that's what makes you magnetic. Today's episode is for every woman who's felt like she had to be perfectly polished before she could show up, whether it's online, in relationships, in business, or even just in your own damn life. This is the idea that's at the center of what I teach inside the Reinvention Code, because reinvention isn't about becoming somebody new. It's certainly not about becoming perfect. It's about finally dropping the mask and becoming fully yourself. And guess what? That version of you is not flawless, but she is real and she's radiant. Welcome to How to Lose the Weight, the podcast for women ready to stop waiting for someday and live life now. I'm your host, Holly Toscanini, and I'm here to help you break free from perfectionism, self-doubt, and the someday mindset. Together, we'll dive into real conversations about self-trust, empowerment, and living authentically. If you're ready to reconnect with your intuition and step into your power, you're in the right place. Let's lose the weight and start living fully right now. Hey friends, welcome back to How to Lose the Weight, the show where we call out all the cultural BS that's kept women waiting on their own lives for far too long. I'm your host, Holly Toscanini, and if you caught last week's episode where we talked about the myth of too late, this idea that midlife means missed chances or something, when in reality, it's often the beginning of our most powerful chapter. So if you've been thinking your best years are behind you, definitely go back and listen to that podcast after this one. Because today we're talking about another belief that's been quietly stealing your confidence and keeping you stuck. And it's the idea that you have to be polished, perfect, and totally put together before you can show up. Whether it's in your relationships or career, or just showing up as yourself in a world that expects you to have it all figured out, this pressure to present a flawless version of yourself, it's exhausting. And frankly, it's kind of a lie. So let's set the record straight, shall we? Perfection might impress people, but authenticity is what keeps you connected. So this episode is all about the power of showing up real. Why? Because messy is magnetic. This is one of the core principles I teach inside the Reinvention Code, because reinvention is not about becoming a new you. It's about becoming more you, this unfiltered, intuitive, brave version you've always been underneath the performance of being perfect. And stick around, because in next week's episode, we're going to get even more practical as I walk you through the 5 hidden blocks to self-trust and how to start releasing them. But today, let's explore what happens when you drop the pressure to be perfect and just show up as the powerful, imperfect woman you already are. Now, I want to start by naming the thing that we've all been sold. Perfection equals worthiness. From the time we're little girls, most of us are taught that being good, being acceptable, meant being neat and agreeable and polished and thin and quiet. You could be smart, but not too smart, and definitely don't get too emotional. We got gold stars for getting it right, and we learned pretty quickly that being messy, emotional, or unsure was something that we had to hide. That training came from all directions, from our family, from school, from religion, definitely from corporate culture, and good old-fashioned patriarchy. So it's no surprise that by midlife, so many women have internalized this belief that we have to earn the right to take up space by performing our way to perfection. And what does that really look like in real life? Think about the times you didn't feel perfect enough to show up. Maybe it looked like not speaking up until you were 100% sure you weren't going to rock the boat or upset anybody. Or maybe it looked like writing an email, 15 times before you actually hit send. Or it could look like saying no to things like dating, showing up online, launching your business, or even wearing the crazy outfit because you're waiting to be more polished, more ready, perfect. But here's the truth. Perfection is a moving target. It's a game you cannot win, and the more you chase it, the more it demands from you. And it's not only unattainable, it's making us sick. Research by Flett and Hewitt in 2002 shows that perfectionism is strongly linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and burnout. It's that constant inner pressure to somehow be better, to be beyond reproach, and it's absolutely exhausting. And it's isolating. So let's call it what it is. Perfectionism isn't a standard. It's a survival strategy. And it's one that's really robbing you of your connection, your confidence, and definitely your power. So what's the alternative? It's being messy. But let me be clear. When I say messy, I don't mean chaotic. I don't mean you should be unprepared or reckless in your life. What I mean is be authentic, be human. I mean, unfinished, but still showing up. Messy is the real you without the filter. It's the unpolished voice note, the unscripted conversation, or the vulnerable truth that you're ready to share. And here's why this is magnetic. Because it's relatable. See, we're not drawn to people that seem perfect. We want to be around people who feel real, the ones who remind us that it's okay to be human. I mean, think about the people you trust the most. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably not the ones that have it all together, but the ones who are willing to say, yep, that's me too. We're biologically wired for connection, and connection happens through vulnerability, not through performance. In my coaching practice, I see it all the time. The moment a woman drops the facade and tells the truth about where she is and what she's feeling, what she's experienced, that's when the real transformation begins, and that's when the energy shifts. What I think is so wonderful about coaching is that I know my clients don't need me to have all the answers. They do need me to show them, though, that I've walked through the fire myself. Whatever it is they're going through, I've probably gone through something very similar. That's why we were attracted to each other to work together in the first place. They also want to know that I'm willing to talk about it without pretending it didn't happen or pretending I went through that experience without any bumps, bruises, or scars. And this shift that you see in people just showing up real, it's everywhere. I mean, social media, it still has its issues, but it used to be this incredibly carefully curated highlight reel. And now, the most viral content often comes from people who just show up as they are. No filter, no script, just truth. And in your personal life, same thing's true. Your partner, your friends, your coworkers, they don't want that version of you who's always, I'm fine. They want the one who's real, who sometimes gets a little pissed off, and who definitely has a sense of humor. Now, when you show your humanness, you give people permission to do the same thing. You give them permission to be human too. You and your whole life stops being this performance, and you start becoming a mirror. So let's just spend a second talking about the cost of all this performative perfection, because it's a high cost and most of us have been paying it for decades. When you prioritize this sense of being polished over just being present, you end up emotionally disconnected from yourself. You stop checking in with your truth and you start asking, how do I look? How do I sound? Am I doing this right? I know, I've been there myself. I still catch myself doing it. You become a brand instead of a human being. And there's something that most people won't say out loud. Perfectionism is often a trauma response. It's control disguised as confidence. When the world has felt unpredictable, unsafe, judgmental, controlling your image becomes a way to protect yourself. You start to think, if I can just get it right, I won't be rejected. I won't be criticized. I'll finally be accepted and I'll be enough. But what actually happens? Well, you burn out. You shut down. And you spend your entire life in this waiting loop, waiting until you're confident, waiting until you're ready, waiting until you have it all together. But here's the punchline. That day never comes. There's always another goalpost. There's always another reason to keep hiding. And while you wait for the perfect moment, you miss your life. So how do we change this? Because we definitely can. Let's talk about how we stop waiting for perfection and start trusting our messy, magnetic selves. I'm going to give you a very simple framework to help you start showing up real. Are you ready? There's 4 parts to this. Part 1, notice when you're holding back. Start paying attention to those moments that you're censoring yourself. I mean, what are you afraid is going to happen if you show up imperfectly? Number 2, name the fear. Is it fear of judgment? Is it fear of rejection? Is it fear of looking stupid? Most of the time, it's not the action itself that's scary. It's the meaning we attach to it. And number 3, normalize it. You are not weak for feeling fear. You're human. Most women were taught that vulnerability equals danger, and you're starting to unlearn decades of that messaging. And number 4, I want you to practice micro-courage. I mean, don't wait until you're absolutely fearless. Just start small. Post the thing you're unsure about. Say what you actually think in a meeting, or admit when you don't know something. These tiny, brave acts build trust with yourself. And here's the bonus, you get to rewire the reward. So instead of seeking approval, celebrate your courage. Instead of asking, did they like it? Did they like me? Ask yourself, did I show up as myself? I want to give you a quick example. A while back, I was creating a presentation for one of my video courses, and I'll be honest, I got completely caught up in making it perfect. I spent hours, just fixing the lighting. I obsessed over every single word on the slides. I spent hours trying to find the perfect image, the one that felt on brand and polished, but was just artsy enough. I re-recorded the video multiple times, chasing that magical take where I wouldn't stumble over a word or blink too much, or there was no reflection on my glasses, or I didn't look like I was thinking about things too hard. And again, the lighting had to be perfect. By the end, I was exhausted and I was frustrated. And yes, the final version looked good, but it didn't feel like me. So I did something wild. I went back and I posted the original unrehearsed, slightly awkward version, the one I almost trashed. And you know what happened? That's the version people responded to. I even got a couple of emails saying, I felt like you were talking directly to me. And I've had clients who hesitated to share their truth online, but I'm going to tell you, the moment they posted something raw, something about their body, their story, their burnout, they got more connection and support than they ever did before. And that's when it really landed on me. Landed for me? Landed, I don't know, that's when it knocked me over. Connection doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from being honest. See, your power isn't in the perfect delivery. It's in your presence. And the more you allow yourself to be, the more magnetic you become. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be honest and authentic. All right, if this episode struck a chord, I'm going to offer you a couple of next steps to try. If you're ready to stop waiting and start taking imperfect but intentional action, grab a copy of the Intuitive Pivot Planner. It's a free guide that helps you get clear on what's holding you back and how to move forward right now. And, if you feel like your inner voice, your intuition is a little quiet, if you're sort of disconnected from that voice, start with my free guide, Activate Your Intuition. It's designed to help you rebuild that connection and start trusting yourself again. You can find both of those in today's show notes, or you can find them on my website, hollytoscanini.com. And remember this, the version of you that's magnetic isn't the one who has it all figured out. It's the one who shows up anyway, messy, unfiltered, and brave. And that's the you the world is waiting for. Head over to my website, get on the wait list for the Reinvention Code. This amazing group coaching program is going to begin fall 2025. If you're on the waiting list, you get some special bonuses and sneak peeks, so I hope to see you over there. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, just show up messy. It'll make you magnetic. Thank you for tuning in to How to Lose the Weight. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. And if you found value in this episode, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It really helps the show reach more women like you who are ready to step into their power. For more insights and inspiration, follow me on Instagram at Holly Toscanini or visit hollytoscanini.com. Until next time, remember, stop waiting and start living.